Yeah. Hello. Ooh. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, I decided to do a video on Meghan and Harry. We're going to find out what's going on with the gruesome twosome. Let's sing the Mimi song real quick. Do, 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 do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm from the Mimi Show, the Mimi Show. I'm from the Mimi Show, the Mimi Show. Yes, the Mimi Show. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah. It's the Mimi Show, the Mimi Show, oh. It's the Mimi Show, the Mimi Show, oh. It's the Mimi Show, oh, 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 oh. It's the Mimi Show, the Mimi Show, oh. It's the Mimi Show, the Mimi Show, oh. It's the Mimi Show, oh, 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 oh. Yeah, to the Mimi Show, the Mimi Show, the Mimi Show, to the Mimi Show, the Mimi Show. Yes, the Mimi Show, the Mimi Show, the Mimi Show. Yes, the Mimi Show, it's the Mimi Show, the Mimi Show. Oh, it's the Mimi Show, the Mimi Show. Oh, it's the Mimi Show. Oh, 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 oh. It's the Mimi Show, the Mimi Show. Oh, it's the Mimi Show, the Mimi Show. Oh, it's the Mimi Show. Oh, 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 oh. It's the Mimi Show, the Mimi Show. Oh. It's the Mimi Show, the Mimi Show. Oh. It's the Mimi Show, the Mimi Show. Oh. It's the Mimi Show. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah. Oh, 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 yeah. Hari Salwan tuanin bahasa Indonesian. Aku melayangkan mataku ke gunung-gunung. Dari manakah akan datang pertolonganku? Pertolonganku ialah dari Tuhan yang menjadikan langit dan bumi. Okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Mimi Show. And welcome back, Cece. It's so good to see you. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. Petals, what is this? I don't know what this is. Can you cancel it,
please, and refund me? So, all right, let's get to it. Has Meghan made a mess of things? Is come back? Hold on one second. Is she going to come back bigger as ever? Is she going to be this star, this famous person that we learn to love? Or is she going to fade in obscurity? And people will only remember the things that she did to destroy Harry's life. To cancel cancel. I just want to know, okay, hold on. I'm canceling my subscription, whatever I paid for March 1st. Okay, so let me pull up a video here. Hello, Lisa B. Hello, highly sensitive. Welcome to the Mimi Show. We just got through playing music on the other app, on the other live that we just did. And I have a playlist. In the meantime, we're going to find out if Meghan has messed up. Has she made a big mess up to where she can't fix it? Can she fix what she has almost destroyed? Here we go.
Has just destroyed Harry and Meghan.
She was love bombing him, completely love bombing him. Meghan wants to move to Malibu, and they discussed Malibu. That they were always planning to do the Megxit and the big reveal and the big interview. I think it was always part of the plan. They maybe even settled it before they got engaged.
One of the most well-connected journalists in British royal reporting has just said something that stops you in your tracks. Charlotte Griffith, editor-at-large of the Men on Sunday, the paper's flagship Sunday edition, and consistently one of the strongest sources of royal scoops, has made a series of allegations about Meghan Markle that are, even by the standards of royal commentary, extraordinary.
Sees Charlotte Griffiths take the couple down in the most brutal way possible. It is war.
Griffith alleges that...
Now let's talk about Prince Harry. He's found himself in some hot water, well, not that hot, lukewarm maybe, after court documents reveal he sent flirty messages to a reporter in which he even joked about drinking her under the table. The messages were sent to Daily Mail reporter Charlotte Griffiths and have emerged as part of Harry's privacy case against the paper's publisher, Associated Newspapers Limited. Here are some examples of the messages sent between December 2011 and January 2012. So we are talking some time ago. First one goes, it's H, in case you were confused by the name and picture. The Duke wrote to Griffiths. Hello, Mr. Mischief. Was indeed confused by both. Effing awesome pie, Griffiths replied. And he followed up with, she reminisced about a weekend of naughtiness with the Duke. Can't we all get up to no good in the countryside every weekend? Damn it, smooches, she wrote. Harry responded saying it was without doubt the best of those weekends I've been to. Best of those weekends I've been to. Interesting. I don't know, Didi. I think these are pretty pedestrian. They could be a lot worse. I don't think Meghan Markle's going to be too upset by any of this, but it does raise the question of how wise it was to take this court action. What is it in it for Harry when he says he's so concerned about his privacy and yet he engages in behaviour where that privacy is breached?
Well, I think in the case of these messages, we're assuming that they're genuine. This was a Facebook exchange. I think it's exposed him as a terrible liar, because he said to the High Court in January that he didn't know any journalists. And when the name of this particular journalist, who's still working at the same publication, was raised.
I mean, Prince Harry just flat out and lied. He just lied. He said he didn't know the journalist. He told the judge that. And then the journalist produced text messages where Harry was texting her and flirting with her. What a bad boy. So the journalist sent the messages. Cece said he's probably cheating on her to get out of the marriage. But look how he just flat out and lied. He didn't tell the truth. It's really not becoming of a prince to lie to people. Like, how can he be so blunt in the lying situation? Hi, Demon Dictator. We're talking about those text messages that Harry sent that journalist and how he's lying about it. You know, no one's talking about the lie-a-thon. The lie-a-thon of it all. Like, he said he didn't know her, but he did know her. Wow. Hi, Demon Dictator. Silly boy.
He said, I might have met her at a party, and as soon as I...
Oh, now he's changing his story. Oh, I might have met her at a party or something like that. I don't remember. Somebody may have introduced me to her, but that was all. That was it. No, it was not it. No. Because you lied and said you didn't know this journalist. What else have you lied about in court? Did he not know that she kept records of the situation? He said he didn't know all of them. It was all proven not to be true. Harry, making a fool out of yourself here. Let's continue.
I found out she was a journo, I cut off contact. And yet this string of messages goes on for months. And it makes sense that she was moving in his circles. She went to uni with...
This wasn't no 1Z, 2Z, 3Z. This went on for months. This back and forth play, flirting, or insinuating, I want to get with you. Let's get together. I'll see you soon. Blase, blase, blase. Harry was a little hoe. He was just out there, just frivolously, just not like his brother, pick one and move on. I know more about Harry's love life than I should know. I know more than I want to know, more than I should know, but here we are. Harry lied to the public, then backtracked and said, oh, no. Maybe I met her at a party or something. Then he has been going back and forth with her for the last 2 months. but he doesn't know who she is. How can he forget that? She is a strong supporter of M&H. Oh. Who is the reporter?
Harry's ex, Chelsea Davy. So they
Ooh.
absolutely were connected and had the same circle of friends. This all happened before he met Meghan. But
This is all before he met Meghan. This is way before he met Meghan. The journalist was before Meghan. Everything was before Meghan. Chelsea as well. So why should Meghan get an attitude or upset with him because he was flirting with someone? That's what men do when they're interested. They flirt.
But I disagree. I would think she would be Meghan, who's all about PR and how she appears. I think she'd be pretty annoyed.
Well, I think she'd be annoyed that, again, he's grabbing headlines for this. She's all about her and her brand and her products.
Yes.
This isn't helping with any of that.
No.
So is it Harry's fault that everything is going to kaput because he lied and said that this journalist, he didn't know who she was? Is this messing up Meghan's brand, or was her brand already messed up from the beginning? Hello? Her brand was already messed up from the flow up to the toe up. He didn't help ruin her Jamma Scam and her sprinkles. She managed to do that all by herself. But it's not good for Harry to be lying. It's not good for his reputation. The entire brand is messed up. See, I don't even think they have a brand anymore. I think their brand has gone under. I think that Meghan no longer has the ability, even the ability to make people like her. She's been trying for 7 years to fix, but we see through her. We know we know that you do not care at all. They're both contributing to failure. They're both embarrassing themselves. Meghan thought the biggest thing that was going to happen to her scamajam was the flower sprinkles. And Netflix was trying to tell her, why don't you capitalize on your wine? That's going to be your biggest seller. No. She wanted some stupid flower sprinkles. Nobody is buying them, eating them, and reviewing on them. They're going in the garbage. They look like little strips of little paper cut open. No, but there's something else she can blame him for. She blames him for everything. Harry, it's your fault that your family made us leave the UK. Harry, it's your fault that your family is racist. Harry, it's your fault that the courtiers were mean to me. It's your fault that the queen made me curtsy to her. I mean, everything is everybody else's fault. We are fully aware. Thank you, Cece.
Oh, did you notice they made an announcement in the US about another polo, not the same as that terrible polo documentary he made on Netflix that nobody...
It really Have you guys seen or watched Meghan next to Harry and how she pushes him in the back and she comes in front of him? Have you seen that? Every time they're walking side by side with each other, I notice that Meghan pushes him away, like, you're in the way, Harry. This is my shot. This is my moment, and you're trying to steal it. No, no, no. Nobody's trying to take your moment. No, everybody know that you are the star, and you want everybody to look at you, and da 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 da. It's an overkill of popularity. It's an overkill. Not that she has popularity, but an overkill of the way she acts to be famous, a star, or noticed. The lengths that she would go to. Okay, Cece, sorry about that. Cece has a migraine. We will be praying for you, Cece. Take care, Cece. Yeah, she's a Looney Tune. Loony. Demon Dictator, what time does Heather go on? Does she go on at 11? Because I probably stop my live in about 30 minutes. I hope you feel better, Cece. Oh, I hate migraines. Hello, Snowdrop. Welcome to the Fanadoos. Welcome to the Fanadoos. Let's see what else is going on. Harry sends flirty messages to journalists.
You watch, but another series to do with polo that is being made by them, but with the assistance of some professional producers. That announcement.
You know, Meghan doesn't even seems like a nice person. She seems like a mean person. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know her personally, but we've seen her in action. And when I look at her and see her, I think to myself, wow, you're a big bully. Wow, you're a mean girl. Wow, nobody likes you because of your personality. How are you going to fix it?
Announcement, strangely enough, came out at the exact same time of this information coming forward. Because in the court of public opinion, everyone's going, Harry, you're a liar.
Yeah.
Because that's how it appears.
Now, staying with the royals, and reports have circulated that Princess Beatrice, daughter of the disgraced former Prince Andrew and Fergie, Sarah Ferguson, is considering moving to America to save her marriage. I don't know if the Americans are ready for another.
Beatrice is moving to the United States to save her marriage. Well, if you're coming to the United States, please do not get a house in Montecito next to the gruesome twosome, because your marriage will fail. It will. Being next to them, you're going to get Markle the dude. Can you believe Beatrice is coming to the United States? G-strings. He looked off his head in his recent speech. Who did, Snowdrop? She's doing a later, so it's about 12 your time. Come over. It was hilarious last night. She did one. Oh, your last night. Okay. The gruesome twosome. Oh, yes, yes. If I'm available, Demon Dictator, I will definitely go over there and support my girl.
The lesser royal to be moving in. Maybe she can get her own Netflix series as well. They're handing them out.
Well, they're making this sound as though she thinks this is going to rescue her marriage. And it does seem, according to some of the reporting, that there is a bit of strain. Her husband, it does seem, according
to be moving in. Maybe she can get her own Netflix series as well. They're handing them out.
Well, they're making this sound as though she thinks this is going to rescue her marriage. And it does seem, according to some of the reporting, that there is a bit of strain. Her husband has been to Palm Beach, Florida several times on business. His business is going really well, which has left her pretty much isolated.
I don't get it. I don't get why Beatrice needs to go to the United States to save her marriage. I don't know why you have to leave a whole country to save a marriage. It makes no sense to do. Okay? Make it make sense. And be very careful, Beatrice, hanging around the gruesome twosome. Been turned around and messed up what little you do got going on. Okay? Don't go over there messing with the gruesome twosome, or you will be getting a divorce from your husband. Keep her out of your situation. Cece says maybe Meghan and Beatrice could start a reality show in Montecito. Messadu. The Mega Bay Show. How I screwed it all up from the beginning to the end. Yeah, running around with flower sprinkles. Can you believe it? The princess, so-called Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, is making some dried flowers and selling them for a price. Make sense. Putting it in a container and selling it. And selling the scamajam. And selling sprinkles. The fall from grace is so deep. The fall from grace is so deep. Meghan has managed to ruin her reputation by her own self, by her own admission, by her own accord. She managed to mess up her popularity to the point where she had to hire a PR team and they can't fix it. How many PR teams have Meghan had? 4, 5? Not working out. Nope. Not doing the trick. If anything, making it worse. Soon, and very, very soon, Meghan is going to come out with a new rebrand. I don't know what it is, but it's going to be a new idea, something new that's going to try to make her famous. Well, I know you said, Letitia, she's already famous. She's infamous. She's a villain. She managed to ruin Harry's life. She did. I believe she walked up into that man's life and turned it upside down, uppity-doo. But I blame Harry for allowing her to let him. To let him. Uh-oh. Sounds like the husband don't like Harry. I don't think Edu, I guess that's his name, likes Harry. Certainly Jack and Eugene were the same chums of the Marcos more. Oh, maybe they'll become best friends. Maybe her and Beatrice will become best friends. I doubt it. If anything, she's going to mess around and mess up Beatrice's relationship, especially if she's confiding in her. Don't do it. Don't do it. Cece says she gets her PR teams on Temu, obviously. She's infamous for stupidity. Wow, I must have taken a mean pill today. No, you're just telling the truth. The truth. Is that her husband, Pickle? Edie?
Like, I don't think she's having a lot to do with her mum and dad at the moment. And she's thinking that if she goes and moves in to Florida with him, that somehow that will help their marriage. And look,
how is moving to Florida going to help your marriage, Eddie? How? How is moving to Florida? I know sometimes moving to different locations can help. I know that when you relocate because the atmosphere, the town you're in, or wherever you are, don't like you, or just, know something about you, and the townspeople don't get along with you. So you want something fresh and new. Okay. But it doesn't necessarily mean that everything is going to be better when you move. Especially moving where Meghan is, she will markle you. She will do something to destroy your marriage. She will give you some advice that's not good for you. You better stay in the UK and just focus on your family. I don't know what they're running from. Are they running from Andrew? He wants to be near a place where alligators do. He can take her on a walk by the water. Uh-oh. Gotta be careful. Beatrice has been trading in. Hello, Mary. Edu has a new ride. He does? Maybe she is getting a gig with the Real Housewives on Hulu. The new with Luna Sanja, Dorita, and Romano. Who's those people? Mean pill activated. Hello, lovely Mary. Welcome to the Mimi Show. I just don't see. Do you guys see if Beatrice moves to Florida that would kind of help her marriage out? Who is she running from? Is she running from her parents? I just wonder why Beatrice thinks that coming to Florida, of all places, that this is going to start a new thing for her, and her and her husband will save their marriage. Well, I really personally hope that their marriage is okay. I really do. That would be crazy, but that's not going to work for her. What about Prince William?
I think Donald Trump would welcome them with open arms. He loves the royals.
He loved the Queen. I don't know how
Well,
fond he is of the rest of them.
oh,
He
come
certainly
on.
is not a fan
You
of
saw
Harry.
him next to Catherine. He was
Oh, he loves
was a
her.
cat with two tails. He loved it. He loves the royals.
Well,
He's
she's a
real-
future queen and she's lovely. It's hard not
Yes.
to like Kate, is it? I mean,
Oh, true. I adore her. Yeah.
she's one of the favourites. Now, we brought you news the other day of a potential royal reunion between King Charles and Prince Harry in the UK later this year. However, new reports reveal that Prince William may snub his younger brother and that invitation if it were to come. What do you make of this story, Michael? Can you see these brothers ever reconciling? I mean, it's so sad that...
Let me help you. Hell no, not as long as Jezebel is in the house. See, the problem is that William cannot connect with his brother on any level, because if he tries to do that, Meghan will manipulate Harry. He's a manipulator. So Meghan will manipulate Harry so that Harry will continue to have a bad relationship with his brother. She's not even pushing for him to reconcile with his brother. She's not even saying, you know, it would be great if you guys hung out, or you went to go see him, or you took the kids to go see their nieces and nephews. Oh, no. She wants them to have strife. She wants their relationship to stay and be broken. She wants nothing. She wants Harry to have nothing to do with William whatsoever. Meghan wants Harry to have nothing to do with William. And so the relationship continues to be one that is unfixable, one that is gone, trashed, burned and buried because of his Jezebel. I have some questions for you guys. Now, I know you guys got family and stuff, and sometimes family don't get along. And so even though family don't get along, they still love each other. They still have a connection. But not Meghan. Okay? She is dealing with something different. Very, very different. Because I don't think she loves. I don't think she cares. I don't think she has it in her. She's not capable. Cece says that would be crazy, but it's not going to work for her. Lots of hot young bodies in Florida. Yeah. Oh, she better be careful. You don't want your man looking at them women on the beach. But in Tom Bower's book, he explains, he goes through both books on how Meghan destroyed the relationship between Harry and his brother. She did that single-handedly by herself. She whispered in Harry's ear and was telling him, oh, they think you're the spare, you're nothing, you're this and you're that when it comes to them. They don't even listen to you. You don't even have a say. So she's building up this negative around William, and Harry is feeding it. He's eating it up. He's believing everything she says. Yeah, my brother is this. My brother is that. He did do this. He did do that. What else did he do, Meghan? Well, he calls you a spare. Yeah. I mean, she is whispered, and the reason why Harry and his brother's relationship is no more. And why his, not just, wait, I lost my thought real quick. When Meghan told Harry that he lost his father in this process, she basically was trying to not just separate him from his father, but to actually draw a big enough wedge to the point where their relationship between father and son barely exists. What woman, this was the question I wanted to ask you. You have a family or whatever, you're married, and you notice that there's some tension between your husband's brother and him. What would you do? Would you help cultivate that relationship and hopefully they become closer? Or would you be like Meghan and throw monkey wrenches into the situation? Would you be like, you know what, honey, you probably need to just give your brother a call, talk to him and see what's going on. Don't take it personally and just hear him out. No, that ain't Meghan. She's going to play the victim. She's going to play, oh, woe is me. He did this to me. Your brother is wrong. He's on the phone. You get it. You handle your brother. He's the mean one. I know if it was me and like my brother, my husband and his brother, I would really be trying to mend that relationship instead of dividing it how she does it. Dividing him from his family, what he's known all his life. And then casually, like it's nothing, tell the world that, oh yeah, Harry lost his father in this too, by the way. Like his father meant nothing. No, that's what happened, because before she was in the picture, Harry and William were just fine. They didn't have any issues. Before Meghan came into the picture, Harry and his father were just fine. They had a relationship. Harry had a relationship with the entire family until Meghan came along. If they are not in the UK, it will be less embarrassing that William has abandoned them. I don't know what William's plans are for the gruesome twosome, but I don't know if he's going to take the titles from the gruesome twosome. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. But he could. Manipula-dippers. That's right. Meghan wants to have the romper bumper ado with William. Probably Snowdrop. I think the brothers' relationship was strained before they came along, but she brought out the real Harry. I don't think their relationship was strained. Harry and his brother were getting along just fine before she stepped on the scene. He was even in the wedding. He stood by his brother on his wedding day to support him. But he knew his brother was making a mistake. And how do you tell someone that's getting married to their so-called love of their lives that that this is the biggest mistake they're about to make in their life? She is the one that separated Harry and William. And it's in Tom Bower's book. She brainwashed him. She isolated him. She did it on purpose. She did it. It was part of her plan. She knew she couldn't control Harry without separating him. I had a boyfriend who told me I had to choose between him and my father. Look at that. Check that out. Check that out, highly sensitive. Let's put a star by that. That right there is a no-brainer. When people start giving you ultimatums like that, it becomes stupid. Yep, it becomes stupid. It just becomes like, who are you talking to? You're a bubblehead, and I'm not listening to you. Okay? I am not listening to what you have to say, giving me an ultimatum. And I believe she's always given Harry ultimatums. Harry is living a sad existence. Sad, lonely existence. He is. It's sad. Mary says, MM is a troublemaker. She seems to enjoy it, all about the joy. Yeah, she loves being in control. She loves being first. She loves telling Harry what to do. She loves putting him in line. She loves all those things. She wants to have the power over Harry so that she can control what he does and do. It's a shame. Highly sensitive. Cece, maybe Harry can be the next Bachelor in Paradise season. Funny. Okay, let's continue.
The only sons of the future king. William is obviously going to be king one day, and to have Harry completely estranged from his family is a sad state of affairs.
Yeah, these two guys have to get back together, and they will. It's Meghan Markle. This chick just must be unbearable to be around.
Ooh, can you imagine knowing her or being a relative? Just having an affiliation with her, she would make your life hell. Because I can't imagine Harry's being happy-go-lucky. That's a lie. He is not happy. He is not on cloud nine. He is not doing his thing. You know, he's miserable. You can tell on his face. He hates to see her coming. Shoot. Let me tell you something. If he ain't feeling it, next Bachelor. I don't think so. He's a frog. He is not a prince anymore, and that's not good.
The royals at this.
Oh my
I guess
God.
she's going to be.
Look at Harry actually spending time with his dad. Remember, they said he never spent time with his dad. His father was always gone, never present. But here's a moment in time that he's hanging out with his sons. So Harry is a liar. Highly sensitive. Did you hear her father has a new girlfriend? Yes, highly sensitive. We went over that yesterday. We met her. Her name is Roy. Yeah, I think it's Roy, her name, but she likes him. She's almost 40 years old. And I actually saw the love. Like they took a picture together, and I actually really can see the love in that lady's heart for Thomas Markle. I think it's wonderful. Honestly, the age gap is a little scary. You know, Lisa was telling us the other day, that's a little creep. Good morning, Cassandra. It's so good to see you. Okay. RIO. Yes, that's her name. Pickles, thank you. You guys are so smart. He's a liar and early onset dementia. Drinking at 11 years old doesn't help with memory. Are you talking about Harry? Oh, wow. Uh-oh, Harry. Your memory is going bad.
Be touring Australia, and she's giving some speech at like the Her Best Life thing, and it's like that's the last person you want to hear about her best life. Meghan Markle, who's
how many times have Meghan went over her resume or what she's about, who she is, and how wonderful she is? Like, how many times or how many more situations or moments in time where she is going to slam that down our throats? Of course, Cassandra. Oh, Snowdrop, what do you mean he's going to lose his paycheck? Where's the paycheck going to go to? So does that mean that Thomas Markle Jr. is no longer his caretaker? Is Junior no longer his caretaker? Okay, I'm gonna pull it up. Okay. Okay, hold on. Here we go.
Well, they met under really romantic circumstances. I mean, she nursed him back to health. She helped him when he was down. He had just lost a leg. And here's this beautiful Filipino spinner who's into him, even though she's what, 30 years younger?
35.
35 years younger.
No, this is so great because we all love Thomas Markle is universally loved, unlike his daughter. And so I turned on Dan Wooten, who's usually not terribly emotional. He's usually very reserved in his coverage, but it's funny because he gets a little heated here. and he's
Can I
talking
tell
to
you?
Brittany from the Royal News Network. And so it was nice to get a cross section of activity here. Some people think Meghan almost murdered Thomas Markle. His heartbreak, the pining for his grandkids. Dan Wooten has Markle family insiders who can describe the incredible rebound that Thomas has made thanks to the nurse he is passionately in love with. In cut one, he describes the situation.
Now, you know, I'm a big fan of the Markle family. I think a lot of people can be very unfair on them. They are good, honest, hard workers who have always just wanted what's right by the British royal family. And I've been speaking to Meghan's sister, my good friend Samantha Markle, over the weekend. And it was just absolutely wonderful to hear how much the entire family are embracing this relationship with Rio. And Sam described her as like an angel who had dropped out of the sky. She said he is really, really happy in his final years. And I think this is very significant because for a long time, Samantha has been incredibly worried that the stress Meghan had caused her father might result in his untimely demise.
She almost killed him.
Yeah.
She literally almost killed him. And then
I don't think I've ever seen him smile before. He was actually smiling in that picture.
Yeah, you're right.
It is weird to see him smiling, but I mean, would you be smiling if an angel dropped out of the sky?
Absolutely.
Like Rio?
Mm-hmm.
And this passionate relationship started very innocently, like Meghan with Prince Harry. You remember, she didn't know who Harry was. She didn't know anything about the royal family.
They just bumped into each other on a yacht.
Yeah, it was crazy how spontaneous it was. And Rio, like Meghan, didn't even know who Thomas Markle was.
Oh, wow.
In cut two, we hear about that.
Rio, a mother of 2 grown children, had no idea who Mr. Markle was when she first met him in mid-December of last year after he checked into the rehab hospital where she works in Cebu, a city in the Philippines that Mr. Markle and his son Thomas Jr. moved to in January 2025.
Philippines.
This week, he invited the Mail on Sunday to spend time with him and his new love and said he expected a backlash from the Sussex squad, the notoriously cruel online trolls who support Meghan and Harry. But he added, I know some people will say hurtful things, but I don't care.
That's right. He's in love.
I want to talk about this because I never thought I would ever be happy again. I want people to know you're never too old to love, to find peace and love.
I believe
there's a lot of negative things going on in the world. And if my story can give a little hope to one person, then I'm happy. The haters will hate. But to be honest, I don't give a damn.
Wow.
Oh, incredible. Well, that's pretty powerful. I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
If only she could find the joy that he has.
I know. And they could meet in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
Because he's in a state, he's so in love right now. He's just in a big love bubble. Meghan seems to have left her love bubble. I don't know what's going on with her. It all seems so unfortunate. And when you talk about Rio, she's really the anti-Meghan Markle because he lost his leg due to heartbreak over Meghan, primarily, not seeing the grandkids. But with Rio, he's regained the ability to speak. So she's almost like the opposite. Cut 3.
Which he puts down in part to speaking all the time to his new love. He said, after my stroke, things were not great. I wanted to go to the other side of the world, to a place where the people are kind. The Philippines have a gentler way of life. I never expected to meet Rio and have my life changed in such a wonderful way.
Aww.
Watching the pair together this week in the comfortable hotel-style room they share on the 12th floor of the rehab center in Cebu, it is clear they share a very special bond. Rio constantly fusses over Mr. Markle and the two.
I mean, that is amazing that Thomas Markle has found love, and she is young, but he is found young with an amputee leg and 80-something years old, which should give a lot of people hope. A lot of hope.
Were openly affectionate and comfortable in each other's company, laughing frequently and poking fun at each other. When she holds his hand, as she often does, he beams with genuine delight. She has him on a strict no-sugar diet, and he's lost a lot of weight. She pushes him to drink more water and hides the chocolate I bring him as a gift, promising to ration it to 1 piece a day as a special treat.
He's getting hotter.
Yeah, that's for her. That's for her. She's getting him in shape.
I mean, that is really hot. I mean, they're a hot couple. There's no argument. There can be no argument about
take
that.
a black light to that hotel room, hotel hospital room.
Don't you two go falling in love while I'm gone. Like that That'll happen.
In cut 4, we hear something that Thomas has suggested from time to time. I think Meghan probably poo-pooed it. A lot of people probably did, but it's clear Thomas and the King of England are peas in a pod. They're emotionally separated at birth in cut 4.
I'd love to see my grandkids. It makes me sad that King Charles has only met Archie and Elizabeth once or twice.
See how much he
How
cares.
strange it is that me, over here in my little world, and him, the King of England, are both in the same boat. We both can't see our grandkids. And then again, Thomas, a good man, offers that olive branch. I love Meghan. She is my daughter. But I don't know how much time I have left, and I want to spend what time
He's
I
fucking
have
hot
being
these days.
happy.
Look at him.
Fitting image.
Rio makes me happy. And as I say, I think it would be really disgusting if Meghan Markle, Brittany, was not open to this, supportive about this, positive about this. I mean, this is a woman who literally dumped her ex-husband via text message and then sent the ring back in the post. So she found happiness again.
She did.
Yeah.
Dan Wooten, he is almost high on this relationship.
He really is, man.
He is virtually high on this
I've never
May,
seen
December.
him. I've never seen him happier.
He is high off of Meghan and Harry's relationship.
How can we all not be
I
happy?
agree.
He's high on this May, December relationship. And now he's going to turn to Brittany from the Royal News Network looking for a sign of hope or approval from Meghan. Maybe it'll come from Brittany. Let's see.
Well, I'm glad he has found love again, Dan. That is wonderful
Everybody.
to see. But when it comes to Meghan Markle's reaction, honestly, I don't even think she's really tracking what's going on with her father or just allowing her PR team to do it for her. For Meghan Markle, it seems that once you are no longer useful to her, she throws you by the wayside. She doesn't seem to care anymore. I don't think she has a lot of love to give to her father. And much like Prince Harry, you can only hope maybe a little bit that Harry and Meghan, and particularly in this case, Meghan, gets a little bit of the taste of her own medicine at some point with her own children.
Wow.
Oh my God.
She's coming with a fire. Although I gotta disagree with one thing she said. I think she sees every story about her dad not because she loves him or cares about him, but because he could really fuck her over
He
and
can.
hurt her and hurt her brand.
But what does he do? He offers the olive branch. I love Meghan. I love my daughter. I want to see my grandkids. It's just the same over and over and
He
over.
should offer to provide security, and then he'll be able to see the kids.
Yes. Start a GoFundMe for their security.
For their security so he can see the grandchildren.
It's funny that Brittany brought up her own children not seeing her at some point, so she gets a taste of her own medicine. Imagining this like 20 years down the road, like the kids refusing to see Meghan Markle.
Yeah.
I think it invigorates me. It might even give me a will to live to see that at that point in my life when I'm in my 80s. God, what I would need, something invigorating to keep me continue to give me the will to live. And a lot of people I think would love to see that. So many people in the Markleverse.
As her kids rejoin the royal family, but they don't.
Yes, something like
Snowdrop said he's gonna outlive us all. Maybe he's going into that SA jungle show. What's that? How did Pops know? Now, no, people were so kind in that part of the world, unless it was from a personal experience.
like
That'd
that.
be awesome.
So, so let's talk a little more about that.
Let's talk about
How invigorating it is to think of Lilibet and Archie growing up and realizing King Charles and Thomas and William and Kate are pretty cool. I mean,
Why
that'd
were
be
we
weird.
kept away? They seem sort of lovely. Why couldn't we have a relationship with them? Why couldn't we have a relationship with our aunt and uncle?
Yeah.
And you may have one of the kids who does question a lot and another kid who just lives in the delusion with their parents. And it also depends as well as if Harry is lifted out of the fog. If Harry somehow comes out of this delusional fog, he may also push against the narrative that Meghan Markle has spun. But right now, they're living in this delusional fantasy in Montecito where they have to abide by all of Meghan Markle's beliefs here. You know, Doria is great. Everybody else in the family sucks. And they are all living there together in their happy delusional bubble. But of course, all bubbles burst at some point. It just depends on when. But yes, those children will question. And again, I would have no sympathy if Archie or Lily decides, you know what, we're going to do the same thing to our parents that they did to their own parents. And that is the example Harry and Meghan are teaching their children, whether they want to believe it or not. And so if Harry and Meghan cut off their own parents, again, who's to say that Archie and Lily aren't going to take that lesson and go, you know what, Mom and Dad, we don't need you either.
Oh, ouch.
Wow.
Wow. Aren't those kids going to be so brainwashed?
And you're right. You know what my mom used to tell me? She used to say, when you have kids, they're going to treat you just like you treating me. But I think that Meghan getting on the Oprah show, doing the Netflix, doing the Spotify, doing all these things to be mean and despicable to the royal family, it's going to come back on her. Excuse me. And I do believe it's going to come from the kids. I believe she's going to get a taste of her own medicine, how it feels to be rejected, lied on, and mistreated and terrorized like you did the queen. Yep. So hopefully the kids run like hell when they get older.
Washed.
Well, possibly, but I was
totally brainwashed by her.
I was thinking like in a couple of years, maybe when they're a little bit older, people could start slipping notes to Archie a little bit, just to maybe.
No. It's gonna start before that. It's gonna be Harry's gonna be like, your mom's a cunt. I'm just saying, because you know those kids are gonna get older. Mom's gonna start yelling at him.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like, oh, I told you.
Maybe wait. If they're still together in a few years,
well, then it's gonna be totally different.
Their teen years just slip.
Then
they're predicting that if they may not even be together in a few years, Harry and Meghan.
She'll really feel the pain if they break up, because he'll.
Oh, do you think Meghan would feel the pain if they broke up? Do you feel like Meghan would? No, because Meghan is not going to break up with Harry. She's going to hang on to him until she drains him dry, till she sucks all the life out of him, until it's all over and said. But no.
He'll totally run back to the UK with them in the royal family.
He's not.
And they'll be like, we've been missing out on this the whole time.
Yeah, she will try to keep the kids away from everyone, including Harry.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm just.
She's already trying to keep the kids away. You already can't see the kids. So it's already a doomed deal. When they get a divorce, she's going to be trying to regulate when he gets to see the kids, and that he's unfit, that he's on rugs, that he drinks a lot, that he's dangerous. She's going to come up with some cockamamie story or an excuse. Disagree. Once he's skunked, she'll flee. Yeah, once he leaves all that, once he loses all his money and his money, when his money is like chewed up and gone, that's when she's gonna be like, it's over, Harry. You have nothing to offer me. I'm already famous. You did that by marrying me. Check. Now let me spend all your money in the bank and just leave you with nothing. That's what she's going to do. She's predictable.
Thinking slip some notes about, your mom's a huge cunt. You know that already. You can call your Uncle William at 555-5555. Here's cut 7. Back to
what
Meghan's
we've
brand.
seen over the weekend is now Meghan trying to make this more personal. I still think it's a disaster, but look at this. She emailed out to all of her followers Meghan's easy, entertaining tips.
These are gonna be great.
This is much more in terms of her actually trying to do the Martha Stewart thing, the Gwyneth Paltrow thing, making it about what she does. Now, the problem you've got, Brittany, is the tips are rubbish. The tips are really crap.
Okay, now I'm intrigued. I want to see these tips. Do we ever get to see them?
Yeah, Dan Wooten's going to get a little bit into it. It's funny. I've never seen Dan Wooten be quite brutal, and he gets even more brutal in the next cut as we take a look at the tips. Dan is upset about Thomas. I mean, you can't excuse that. I mean, that's certainly, I think, kind of hanging over Dan Wooten's thoughts here. But no matter how much we care about this stoic, passionate man, Thomas Markle, Meghan just can't be bothered. But can the tips really be this bad? Let's see if it's Dan or if it's the tips themselves.
And your favorite playlist, complete the scene. What, play music at an event? Oh my goodness, Meghan, thank you for that. Opt for short bud vases filled with tonal blooms or one larger bouquet to create a beautiful ambiance. And when I saw that email, Brittany, I just thought, this is why this brand is completely screwed.
It's
because
screwed.
This woman has nothing interesting to say. I mean, even if you really liked Meghan Markle, how on earth could you read that email and think, oh, I'm really going to get something from this brand, so now I want to buy something from this brand? That advice is crap. It's shit. It's basic. It's like cheese and charcuterie boards, wine, and music. We all know that.
I know. There's nothing special there. A playlist, flowers.
Dan Wooten is really hopped up about this.
I'm with you. I'm with Wooten. Hashtag I'm with Wooten.
And Brittany was not offering any kind of counterpoint. I mean, the Markleverse is really, I've never seen the Markleverse so together.
This is great because Meghan she is not going to give up on this brand no matter how much it sucks, right?
She has to. It's so bad. How much money? They're just going to lose more money. They lost Netflix money the first time.
It's deemed a failure. There's no saving it now. So she should just shutter it up. But I don't know. I mean, she's got to have an excuse to get out of it, right? So she's got to have something else.
That's why she's trying to wiggle her way back into acting.
You got it. Yep. And so then it's going to be, well, I'm just way too busy to be an actress.
This is what I know best.
I can't keep being a founder.
God, nobody's going to buy it though.
Well, no, because it's just a failure. Period. Right. So it should be shuttered. It should be shut down now.
Oh yeah, it should be. Instead of doing all these trademarks in Australia.
In a weird way, I'd have respect for her if she's like, yeah, it didn't work.
Well, yeah,
it didn't work. I'm gonna try something else.
It takes a lot of the joy out of ragging on something when somebody says, yeah, that really sucked. I mean, they really take a lot of things away from you as a critic.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't think she'll ever say that. I really
what a
don't.
Fool.
I know, she is such an idiot. I just love that the whole world is coming down on her. Nobody deserves it more. She's so horrible.
And we're coming together with Thomas's.
The world is coming down on her. He said she's so horrible. Isn't that? I mean, it's so bad. I almost feel sorry for Meghan that her popularity is so bad to the point where, you know, her jam is not doing good. Her wine isn't doing good. All her products are not doing good. Her Instagram isn't doing good. She's not where she wants to be. She wants to be a billionaire. She wanted to be successful. She thought the world would turn against the royal family and love on her and bow to her. But what made her think that she could bring down an institution that's been going around for thousands of years?
Newfound love. That's really great.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems like karma.
Finally,
that
some
love
light
would come to
in
Thomas.
this story.
Please invite him to the palace.
Oh my God, would that
both
be
of
awesome? That would be the best.
And his new girlfriend's
Yeah.
kids.
I want him knighted.
King Charles hanging out with Thomas Markle and just having a ball, drinking pints together.
Oh my God, the whole world would watch that knighting ceremony as he gets down on his stump and gets the.
God, I would wake up at 4 a.m. for that easily. Without I wouldn't miss it for the world.
It would be the best. I love it.
All right. Hold on. Lovely people. Hold on. Okay.
Her torso at extremely close.
tell me there's more to this than just a sniggering headline. What is it that I missed?
Absolutely. So Prince Harry's court case, some of the key tenets of it is against in part the Daily Mail, was that they used unlawful tactics and phone hacking to get information on him, that he never socialized with journalists, that he did not have a leaky friend group, and that he remembers everything clear as day from that particular period of his life. And that basically they must have essentially hacked his phone in order to get information and make his life a living hell. That's the cornerstone of his court case. Well, that was completely blown out of the water by the fact that it was revealed that, he clearly doesn't remember everything, because he clearly was socializing with a journalist. He was actually quite flirtatious with her. He initiated the conversations as well. And so it's kind of a bit of a mic drop moment for the Mail newspapers, really. It was in their closing arguments that actually perhaps Prince Harry has been caught telling a few porky pies, maybe misleading.
Ooh, not the porky pies.
The court certainly not got the best recollection of events ever, and that they frankly did not need to hack his phone to get information on him. Also, when it came to the idea of a leaky friend group, well, that's pretty clear. I mean, they were attending the same parties. Well, he was attending a party with a journalist who was working as a royal correspondent at the time at the Daily Mail. It also exposes really that he's perhaps what we already knew, not necessarily the sharpest tool in the shed, because he claims not to know. Not to have known that she was a royal correspondent. Well, it doesn't speak volumes about the quality of his security, does it, if he's socialising with someone who's working as a royal correspondent at the time? He also did not cut off contact with her when he said he did. So his argument's been completely blown out of the water. Just quickly, though, as well, he did not have to expose all of these messages in court. And it is quite embarrassing for the journalist in question. She is now married with 3 kids. I mean, this was a long time ago, these messages. But now she's being dragged through all of this. And these quite flirty, somewhat embarrassing messages are out there. And Prince Harry did not have to expose her to this as well. So he doesn't really emerge in the best light all round here. I mean, he looks a bit stupid, to be honest with you, for a start, and also maybe a bit mean, making her go through this.
Well, that he looks a bit stupid is not breaking news. I hate to break it to you, mate, but that's not news. But the rest, yes. Thank you so much indeed, Patrick Christie's. Really appreciate that.
State regime media, which calls itself Fox News, was collapsing live on TV after Donald Trump's address to the nation completely bombed. Many people are saying it was the worst presidential address in United States history. The markets started tanking after Donald Trump's speech. Oil started surging again after Donald Trump's speech. But Mark Levin, the Donald Trump propagandist on Fox, said, "Great speech. Best speech ever." And the Fox propagandists went to work to try to pretend that Donald Trump's worst speech somehow was well done. The American people weren't buying it. Fox was in collapse mode. Let me show you what went down. A quick reminder, hit subscribe, help us get to 7 million subscribers. We're on our way. And also subscribe to Scott McFarlane's YouTube channel. So one of the Fox propagandists, Sean Hannity, he was like, well, we didn't really get a timeline here, but okay, it was at least a speech. At least Donald Trump said words. Here, play this clip.
President didn't give a specific timeline, but talked about the next 2 to 3 weeks. And this thing should be wrapped up in terms of all military objectives.
And then Hannity brought on Lindsey Graham, and Lindsey Graham was like, we got to get
not the oil. Oh, God, it did. Okay, guys, let me go back to, hold on, give me a sec.
Now, we brought you news the other.
One of the biggest names.
You tell me there's more to this than just the.
All right. All right, guys. The story of the day is about Harry lying to the courts about not knowing the journalist. And it really makes him look like an idiot. Mary says, what treat did Eric bring you, Letitia? What treat? You bought me a treat, babe?
Not today.
He bought me some flowers the other day. I think they're dying. Did they die?
No, they're still up. I'm gonna give them some light.
Let me see. Oh, yeah, I got me some flowers the other day. Some carnations. Oh, here, I'll just show you the flowers. They're just some little flowers. They're just some little rose carnations. My little flowers my hubby bought me. There. Molly did a live about this yesterday. It is awful. Henry perjured just like Meghan do. Yep. And then they'll lie in court and say, oopsie daisy, I didn't do that. It wasn't me. Sounds like somebody else I know. Liar, liar, pants on fire. He was calling the journalist sugar and talking about her G-strings and and singing off the mow kisses. Wow kisses. Wow. He was really into her. I just listened to State TV and heard all this. Okay. Well, I didn't hear what was going on. What was he saying? Let me see it real quick. I just want to see. Fox News collapses on air as Trump speech bombs. I haven't seen that, but we're gonna move on. Here we go. Instagram, there's a clip of Iranians confronting the deluded woke protesters in UK. Can you believe that? That UK is protesting against Donald Trump's war as well. They were part of the No Kings War. No Kings protest. I did Funky Dineva earlier today, Snowdrop, on my other live. My husband's a sweetheart. Okay, Debbie, so we'll just skip it. Okay, guys, listen, I want to do true crime. Who wants to do true crime? Put a 2 in the chat if you don't. We either do true crime or we shut it down. Okay. Hold on one sec.
Thank you. Somebody said you lie on your mother. You lie.
Queen Tulsa.
Exactly. Thank you, Dark Matter. Like, and this is my thing. Like, I be out here just researching, and sometimes I have to catch myself because I mean, when I was younger, I used to watch like true crime, forensic files, and all that.
Yeah, that's what we want to watch. All right, thank you, because I want to watch it. I'm going to add. I don't want to start a new live, so I'm just going to The video was private. The suitcase murders. Oh. Yep. True crime, true crime, true crime. I do. And let me go. We did Disney yesterday, Debbie, but you love the Disney situation. I'm not going to start a new live. I'm just going to go into true crime. Well, I'll see if there's any more Disney issues. Do you still want to see that? Debbie, you didn't come back last night when we did the situation. Okay, so let me go to share. And let's go here. And then I'm going to go. Yeah, I want to keep this. Yeah, we didn't talk about Trump that much today. There's not much going on today, same old stuff, unless there's some new stuff going on, Debbie, that you know about that I don't. Okay, there is the wedding deaths, of course, which I think is interesting. We did the Niagara Falls. Here's the Disney. I think we finished Disney
I'm Nathan
yesterday.
Cole from Fatal Files, and I went down a rabbit hole on some of the dumbest Disneyland stories.
We did the
and what got me wasn't how extreme they were. It was the fact that it's Disneyland.
And then,
from a dad stepping into a moving parade just to get a better
deaths.
picture with his kid, to someone getting irritated over a simple refusal and turning it into something it never needed to be.
Okay, here we go. We're going to do the wedding. How about
It
Karen?
was July 18th, 2016, in Anaheim, California.
we'll do
By
Karen.
early afternoon, the parade route had filled in tighter than usual, with families pressed shoulder to shoulder along the barriers,
We're gonna
phones
do a
raised,
couple of
waiting for the
things. We'll
floats to
start with
pass.
Karen.
Ought to stand our ground.
Okay, hold on. Here we go.
Arguing, refusing, and escalating turned ordinary situations deadly. Today, we're looking at 6 real cases of Karens who died in crazy ways, where attitude carried irreversible consequences. It was June 17, 2016, in a quiet residential neighborhood in Mesa, Arizona. The temperature sat near 104 degrees Fahrenheit in the late afternoon, and several homes on the block had backyard grills running ahead of sunset. Fences were low, and sound carried easily from yard to yard. Denise Harlow, 44, worked part-time as an office assistant for a small real estate firm and lived alone in a single-story home with a concrete patio and a standard propane grill. Neighbors described her as direct and argumentative during routine disputes, especially when she believed others were overreacting or interfering. That afternoon, Denise planned to grill food for 2 visiting relatives. The grill had been stored uncovered for months. When she connected the propane tank, it did not light on the first attempt. A neighbor working in his yard later said he smelled gas drifting over the fence and called out to mention it. Denise raised her voice in response, waved him off, and insisted the grill was working, continuing to adjust the tank and ignition without stopping. Over the next several minutes, Denise made repeated attempts to ignite the grill. The lid stayed closed during most of these attempts. One relative suggested stopping and checking the connection, or waiting until the smell cleared. Denise dismissed the suggestion and attributed the issue to trapped air in the line. Several nearby residents were outside at the time and had clear views into Denise's backyard. They later reported seeing her lean over the grill for an extended period, while repeatedly adjusting the control knobs with the lid closed. When Denise lifted the grill lid and leaned forward again, Gas that had collected inside ignited all at once. The ignition produced a sudden outward flash rather than a rising flame. The burst was brief but forceful, accompanied by a sharp sound that drew immediate attention from surrounding yards. The flames struck Denise across the face, neck, and forearms. Her hair caught fire briefly as she recoiled backward, colliding with a patio chair before losing her balance and falling onto the concrete. She remained exposed to heat for several seconds before the flames subsided. People nearby reacted almost immediately. Water was sprayed toward her clothing from a garden hose while others moved toward the grill. The propane tank was shut off within moments, stopping the gas flow and ending the fire. The fire did not spread beyond the grill area. Denise remained on the patio and did not stand back up. Visible burn injuries were present on her upper body, and no attempts were made to move her before help arrived. Denise was transported from the scene for medical treatment, but died days later from complications caused by extensive burn injuries and smoke inhalation.
Oh, wow.
The official cause of death was listed as complications of thermal burns with associated inhalation injury.
No.
The death was ruled accidental. In the weeks that followed, grills on the block went unused. Several residents replaced old hoses and tanks or moved their grills farther from their homes. The patio where the incident occurred remained empty for the rest of the summer, with the grill covered and untouched. It was May 28, 2016, in a big box store parking lot in Mesa, Arizona, during extreme heat under an active advisory.
Heat advisory.
One of the parked cars belonged to Kelsey Hart, 29 years old.
That was
She worked part-time as a...
That was very sad about that story we just listened to. You know, there's warning signs and then there's not. And then when there are warning signs, we should take heed to that because we don't want anything bad to happen to us. Like what happened to this lady. It was a freak accident. She was cooking dinner for two people, for two friends. And look what happened. She lost her life over it. Okay, now it's hot. New story. It's hot today and it's a heat advisory. In other words, stay in the house or stay somewhere cool.
A salon assistant and had brought her 2-year-old son, Owen, with her while running errands. People who knew Kelsey described her as confrontational during disputes and quick to escalate arguments, particularly in public settings where she felt wronged. Kelsey parked her car facing direct sunlight.
Karens.
Owen was secured.
These are all Karens. It's called something about how Karens got unalived. Okay. So yeah, this is... Who's that? Let's continue.
In a rear-facing car seat in the back. The engine was off, and the windows were mostly closed. Later statements indicated she believed she would be inside only briefly. Inside the store, Kelsey became involved in an argument at the customer service counter over a return. Staff declined to process the refund without a receipt.
She's starting to argue with the people at the front office. They didn't want to give her a refund because she didn't have a receipt.
The exchange escalated. Kelsey raised her voice, demanded a supervisor, and refused to step aside. Customers nearby distanced themselves as the dispute dragged on. Store staff later said Kelsey appeared flushed and overheated during the argument, wiping her face repeatedly and showing signs of physical agitation beyond the dispute itself. Outside, the heat built rapidly inside the vehicle. With minimal airflow, the interior temperature rose quickly. Owen cried at first, then grew quieter.
Oh, wait a minute. Hail to the no. Did I miss something? Did she leave the baby in the car? Help me out, chat. Did she leave the baby in the car? Oh, okay. Thanks, Debbie. Did she leave the baby in the car.
Investigators later noted that this progression was consistent with worsening heat stress in a young child. Approximately 30 minutes later, a shopper walking through the parking lot noticed a child alone in a parked car. The child appeared flushed and did not respond to movement outside the window. The shopper tried the door, found it locked, and called 911. Another bystander used a tire iron to break the rear window. Owen was pulled from the car and carried into the shade. Several people poured water over his clothing and fanned him while waiting for paramedics.
Lord.
When emergency crews arrived, Owen was conscious but lethargic.
Oh, Lord, this BICTH let this baby outside in the car. It was a heat advisory. And why in the hell would you leave an infant in a car all by yourself, all by himself? Exactly. What if somebody come up, breaks the window, and takes your child? It's weird. You should see how the way I eye my daughter everywhere we go. Like, I don't want her out of my sight. Okay? Like, she cannot be out of my sight. And here we go, leaving babies in the car.
I loved it in the Slammer. Where are your friends? Where are the ladies that was rooting you on? Well, now you're in a place with a lot of DL men. Now you can expose them.
Store staff alerted Kelsey, who ran toward the parking lot, still visibly agitated. Security records show Kelsey arrived moments after responders began treatment. Seeing the shattered rear window and broken glass, she immediately began shouting, directing her anger at bystanders and staff while demanding to know who had damaged her car. Despite paramedics working nearby on Owen, she moved closer, stepping through broken.
She wasn't concerned about the baby. She's concerned about her window being broken.
Glass and continuing to yell without pause. Her voice remained raised as bystanders and a paramedic attempted to redirect her attention toward her child. She ignored them and focused on the vehicle, pacing near the rear door and striking the door frame with her hand. As she reached for the handle, her movement slowed. She placed a hand on the door frame and stopped speaking mid-outburst. Witnesses said her posture shifted, her balance faltered, and she appeared confused and unsteady, failing to respond when addressed. Seconds later, Kelsey staggered backward. She collapsed forward, striking her head against the base of a metal signpost at the edge of the parking row. The impact was severe. She fell onto the asphalt and remained motionless as people rushed to her aid.
What the hell? What's going on with this story? This story has taken 3 turns. First, she left the baby in the car. Second, she's arguing with the lady at the front desk. Third, she's out there upset about her car. Fourth, she's spinning around dizzy and is about to fall. And the baby is still being resuscitated.
Paramedics focused on Kelsey, who was unresponsive with severe head trauma and no effective heartbeat. Advanced life support was attempted on scene without success, and she was pronounced dead in the parking lot. The medical examiner ruled the cause of death as sudden cardiac arrest, with the head injury listed as a contributing factor to her collapse. Heat stress and acute emotional agitation were identified as significant contributors. Owen survived and was treated for heat exposure before being released days later. In the aftermath, the store added clearer parking lot warnings about children left in vehicles during heat advisories and updated procedures to escalate such reports immediately.
Story 3.
It was June 10th, 2015, at a neighborhood park on the outskirts of Fresno, California.
Fresno.
The late afternoon was clear and hot. A wide grass field stretched between walking paths and a small playground.
Heat alert.
Several groups were scattered across the park, sitting in shade or standing near open space. Elaine Porter, 46, worked as an office administrator and lived a few blocks from the park. Her daily walks followed a routine, usually alone and at the same time each afternoon. People who knew her later described her as decisive and impatient with situations she believed were out of order. When she felt something was wrong, she expected immediate correction. That afternoon, a group of teenagers was flying remote-controlled airplanes in an open field positioned well away from the playground and walking paths. One gas-powered aircraft was airborne, circling low before climbing again, while a second plane rested on the grass. The teens' attention remained fixed on the flight. As Elaine walked along the paved path, the airborne plane passed nearby, still several yards away and above head level. She stopped, turned toward the field, and began shouting at the teens to leave the area. Rather than continuing along the path, she stepped off the pavement and walked across the grass toward them. When she reached the group, Elaine grabbed the grounded aircraft by its wing and threw it aside. The plane slid across the grass, its frame cracking on impact. Several nearby parkgoers shouted for her to stop and move back, but she ignored them. With the second aircraft still in the air, Elaine turned toward it and raised her arms, stepping forward into its flight path. The operator reacted immediately, attempting to pull the plane away. However, the aircraft was already in a low maneuver with limited altitude. Witnesses later described the plane dipping briefly before surging forward under power. The aircraft struck Elaine at close range. Its spinning propeller cut into her upper chest and neck area before the plane broke apart on impact. She collapsed backward onto the grass as fragments scattered several feet away. The engine stalled and the propeller stopped within seconds. Witnesses reported that Elaine was unable to speak and was bleeding heavily from her upper body. Emergency services were called immediately. Paramedics arrived within minutes, but Elaine was unresponsive. Emergency treatment was initiated on scene, but her condition did not improve. She was transported to a nearby hospital, where she was later pronounced dead. The medical examiner determined the cause of death was catastrophic soft tissue injury and blood loss resulting from contact with the aircraft's propeller. The death was ruled accidental. In the months that followed, the city restricted remote-controlled aircraft use to designated zones and times, added warning signage near pedestrian areas, and redirected hobbyists to approved flying fields. No charges were filed, and the park reopened under updated safety policies. It was December 25, 2013, inside a single-story home in suburban Columbus, Ohio. The afternoon was warm, the windows were closed to keep the air conditioning in, and the kitchen was crowded with family for a Christmas gathering. Tara Whitman was 33 years old and spending a December afternoon at a family home during a Christmas gathering. She ran a small event rental business and enjoyed sharing party tricks and simple demonstrations online. Relatives later described her as assertive and hands-on, someone who often took control of situations and reacted poorly when corrected, especially around younger family members. That afternoon, several teenage nephews were preparing.
Yeah, these are real true stories. These are real true stories. The woman that left her baby in the car had her, I don't know what happened to the baby because the mama ended up having a cardiac arrest and dying on the scene.
A cola and Mentos demonstration they'd seen online. A 2-liter bottle sat upright in the kitchen sink, positioned so the eruption would shoot upward and drain safely. A phone rested on the counter to record the experiment, but it wasn't central to the plan. Adults warned the boys not to touch or drink from the bottle once the reaction began, and to step back immediately. As they explained the steps, Tara interrupted, dismissing the precautions. She laughed at the need to step away, said they were overthinking it, and insisted she'd done similar tricks before, telling them to relax. As one of the boys reached for the Mentos, Tara abruptly lifted the bottle out of the sink. Someone told her to put it back and warned her not to drink from it. She snapped that she wasn't a child and didn't need instructions. She repositioned herself closer to the counter, leaned over the sink, and told everyone to stop interfering. At her direction, one of the nephews dropped the Mentos into the bottle she was holding. The reaction began instantly. Carbon dioxide is released violently, forcing foam and soda upward at high speed. Instead of setting the bottle down or stepping away, Tara raised it toward her mouth, appearing to attempt to drink from it
Oh,
despite the ongoing
Lord.
reaction. The pressurized liquid surged faster than expected, flooding her mouth and throat with a volume far beyond what could be swallowed or expelled safely. She immediately began coughing and choking as the bottle slipped from her grip and struck the sink. Soda and foam spilled across the counter and onto the kitchen floor. Tara bent forward, gagging and struggling to breathe. Panic set in as she tried to regain her footing while still disoriented from the sudden aspiration. As she attempted to step backward from the sink, her foot slid on the wet tile. She lost balance and fell hard, striking the back of her head and upper neck against the edge of the countertop before collapsing onto the floor.
Oh,
Family
Lord.
members later said she was still coughing and confused immediately after the fall, but quickly became unresponsive. Emergency services were called immediately. The family attempted to keep her airway clear while waiting for responders. When paramedics arrived, Tara was unresponsive on the kitchen floor, with signs of severe head and cervical trauma. Despite airway management and oxygen support, she did not regain consciousness and was pronounced dead at the scene.
Oh, wow.
The medical examiner ruled the cause of death as blunt force head trauma from the fall. Acute aspiration of carbonated liquid and a panic-induced loss of balance were listed as contributing factors. Investigators found no evidence of poisoning, equipment failure, or allergic reaction, confirming the cola and candy reaction behaved as expected. No charges were filed. It was April 21st, 2018, at a city zoo in Omaha, Nebraska. The afternoon was mild with clear skies and steady foot traffic. Families moved along walkways between exhibits, pausing at railings separating visitors from enclosures. Near one exhibit, a viewing area was partially closed with barriers and warning signs. Janelle Mercer, 31, worked as a retail supervisor and was visiting the zoo with a small group of acquaintances that afternoon. She worked as a retail supervisor and had come to the zoo with a small group of acquaintances as part of a casual weekend outing. Several visitors later recalled noticing her near a partially closed viewing area, where she became engaged in a tense exchange with staff. People familiar with Janelle described her as someone who resisted correction and frequently challenged posted rules, often dismissing safety notices as unnecessary or overcautious. The viewing area overlooked an animal exhibit, separated from the public walkway by a dry concrete moat. Beyond the main railing was a narrow, sloped maintenance ledge scattered with loose gravel and never intended for public use. A secondary barrier had been installed to keep visitors out of this restricted zone. Zoo staff said the area was closed earlier due to crowding and limited visibility. When Janelle reached the barrier, she stopped and argued that the closure was unnecessary, claiming the area looked safe. An employee explained the restriction and directed her to continue along the walkway. Janelle refused to move. Witnesses reported that she raised her voice, dismissed the warnings as exaggerated, and insisted there was no danger beyond the barrier, as nearby visitors stopped to watch. Instead of complying, Janelle climbed over it. Surveillance later confirmed that she lifted herself over the rail, one leg at a time, stepping into the restricted area. She moved onto the narrow maintenance ledge beyond the barrier. The surface was uneven, with small stones scattered across the concrete, and there were no handholds or guardrails. The space was not designed to support foot traffic. Standing on the ledge, Janelle turned back toward the public area. As she shifted her stance, her heel slid against the loose gravel. Her foot lost traction almost immediately. She reached backward toward the railing, but her hand did not connect with anything solid. Her center of gravity tipped beyond recovery. With no barrier to stop her fall, she went backward into the moat below. Several witnesses reported hearing a sharp impact as her head struck the concrete base. Her body did not move afterward. Zoo staff reached the edge of the moat within seconds, and one employee descended using a nearby access ladder. Janelle showed no signs of consciousness or voluntary movement. Emergency services were called immediately. Paramedics arrived shortly after and found her unresponsive at the bottom of the enclosure. Resuscitation efforts failed, and she was pronounced dead at the scene. The medical examiner determined the cause of death was severe blunt force head trauma with a high cervical spine fracture. consistent with a backward fall from the maintenance ledge onto concrete. Death was determined to be instantaneous. Investigators reviewed staff statements and visitor accounts, which showed Janelle arguing with staff, climbing over a clearly marked barrier, stepping onto a restricted ledge, and falling. The barrier was intact and functioning as designed, with no equipment failure or structural defect identified. Inspectors confirmed the exhibit met safety standards and that access restrictions were in place due to crowd conditions. After the incident, the zoo added taller barriers, expanded warning signage, and increased staff presence near similar enclosures during peak hours.
Ooh.
It was November 3rd, 2015, inside a busy family restaurant in St. Louis, Missouri, during a crowded dinner rush. Dawn Pritchard was 44 years old and worked as a dental office receptionist. On the evening of the incident, she stopped at a casual sit-down restaurant after finishing her shift, intending to eat before heading home. She arrived alone and was seated near the front of the dining room, close to the host stand. Employees later told investigators that Dawn was familiar to the restaurant and had been involved in prior disputes. She was known for escalating minor complaints and raising her voice until staff intervened. That evening, she called over a server and said her chicken entree was raw. Kitchen records later showed the dish reached standard internal temperature, and no other guests reported issues with the same batch. Dawn rejected the explanation. She stood from her table and moved toward the host stand, speaking loudly enough to draw attention from nearby diners. She demanded a refund and accused the kitchen of serving unsafe food. A manager offered to replace the meal or remove it from the bill, but Dawn refused both options. She threatened to report the restaurant for health violations and said she would document the kitchen herself. Despite being told to remain in the dining area, Dawn stepped past the host stand toward the swinging doors marked "Employees Only." Two staff members attempted to block her entry, but she pressed forward, forcing the doors inward as she...
Okay, Karen has entered the building. She has went past and went in the employees section of the restaurant. She has really snapped a dude. What are you doing behind there, Karen? What's going to happen? Oh, I feel sorry for these people.
She continued shouting. The kitchen was in the middle of peak service. Near the fry station, the tile floor had a thin layer of grease mixed with water, an expected condition during active cooking hours. One cook was stationed at an open fryer filled with hot oil, operating at standard frying temperature as steam rose from the surface. Witnesses said Dawn entered the kitchen with her phone raised, still yelling accusations toward staff. Her attention remained fixed ahead. She did not slow down or adjust her footing as she stepped fully onto the slick tile. Her right shoe slid sideways almost immediately. The slip was abrupt. Dawn's center of gravity shifted forward, and she attempted to regain balance but had no traction. She fell toward the fryer well, her hip and torso striking the metal edge first. The impact pitched her upper body forward. Her forearm and part of her upper body plunged directly into the hot oil inside the fryer well. The cook closest to the fryer reacted instantly, grabbing Dawn's clothing and pulling her backward, while another employee activated the emergency shutoff. Dawn screamed as she was dragged clear of the fryer and collapsed near the doorway onto the tile floor. She remained largely motionless, breathing shallowly and irregularly. Severe oil burns were visible along her arm and side. Staff members kept her still and contacted emergency services while clearing the immediate area and shutting down nearby equipment to prevent further injury. Paramedics arrived within minutes. They found Dawn suffering from extensive thermal burns across a large portion of her body. Her blood pressure was dangerously low, indicating shock. She was briefly conscious during initial assessment, but lost responsiveness shortly thereafter. She was transported under emergency conditions to a nearby hospital. Despite emergency treatment, Dawn's condition declined quickly, and she died later that night. The medical examiner ruled the cause of death as burn shock caused by extensive hot oil immersion burns, leading to rapid fluid loss. systemic inflammatory response, and cardiac failure. Investigators concluded she had
Burn shock. I've never heard of that before. Burn shock. Jesus. She fell in that grease. Oh, wow. I feel so sorry for her. What was she doing back there in the kitchen? See, get out the kitchen.
forced her way into a restricted kitchen area and slipped on an active service floor. The fryer was operating normally, and no health or safety violations were found. Afterward, the restaurant added non-slip mats, installed an additional barrier at the kitchen entrance, and retrained staff on dispute escalation. No criminal or civil action followed, and the restaurant reopened the next day. Thank you for watching. Click here for more videos.
Wait a minute.
Today, we're going to examine the worst wedding death.
Wait a minute. Hold up. I got a question. They didn't have any safety mats? That kind of just makes your mind go. Why wasn't there any safety mats? Anybody could have slipped and fell in that grease. Wow. That could have been prevented. All right. Meltdown, says Mary Taylor. Okay, where are we? We're 2 hours in. Let's do two more wedding, two more true crime weddings, and then I'll let you lovely people go.
Deaths ever recorded. From a photographer who believed no shot was too dangerous to capture, to a wedding officiant whose body would betray him at the worst possible moment, ending his final ceremony in unthinkable tragedy. It was September 17th, 2016 in the Colorado Rockies. The mountain resort sat perched at 8,500 feet elevation, surrounded by dramatic cliff faces and sweeping valley views that made it one of the most sought-after wedding destinations in the state. The venue's natural beauty came with inherent dangers, particularly the unstable rock formations that jutted out over steep drops. Garrett Fleming was 34 years old and had built his reputation as a wedding photographer on one simple principle. He would go anywhere and risk anything to capture the perfect shot. His portfolio was filled with breathtaking images of couples posed on cliff edges, mountain peaks, and precarious overlooks that other photographers wouldn't dare attempt. When he arrived at the mountain resort for the wedding weekend, Garrett immediately began scouting locations for dramatic shots. During the Friday evening rehearsal, he identified a rocky outcrop extending roughly 15 feet beyond the main cliff face, overlooking a valley nearly 80 feet below. As he tested angles near the edge, the venue coordinator approached and warned him the outcrop was off limits due to recent surveys showing erosion and unstable rock. Garrett acknowledged the warning but dismissed it, explaining that he had worked on similar cliff locations many times without incident. When the coordinator reiterated that the restriction applied to all vendors, Garrett pushed back.
I see what you're saying, Debbie, like steel toe shoes that they wear, protective shoes. She had no business back there. You're right. You're right, Debbie.
Arguing that the venue was interfering with his ability to deliver what the couple expected. He referenced his contract and threatened to tell the bride and groom the venue was limiting their photos. During cocktail hour, as the sun dropped toward golden hour, Garrett enlisted 2 groomsmen to help carry his equipment to the restricted area. Despite posted warnings, he assured them the access was approved and set up his tripod near the edge to frame the couple against the valley below. Garrett positioned his tripod about 8 feet from the edge and began taking test shots to check his composition and lighting. The bride and groom joined them on the outcrop, trusting Garrett's expertise and excited about the dramatic photos he had promised. Garrett directed them to stand near the edge while he moved backward to capture a wider shot that would show more of the valley below. He was looking through his camera viewfinder, focused on framing the perfect image, when he took 3 steps backward onto a section of rock that looked identical to the stable ground around it. The rock beneath his feet was actually a thin shelf that had separated from the main cliff face but remained in place, held only by friction and a few small contact points. When Garrett's full weight, plus the weight of his camera equipment, pressed down on this unstable section, it gave way instantly. The groomsmen and wedding couple watched in horror as the ground simply disappeared beneath the photographer's feet. Garrett fell backward, still holding his camera, as the rock shelf collapsed. He dropped about 6 feet before hitting a small ledge, then bounced and continued falling toward the valley floor. The entire fall took approximately 4 seconds. The groomsmen immediately called for help, while the bride and groom were led away from the edge by other wedding guests who had heard the commotion. Emergency responders arrived within 45 minutes, but the remote location and steep terrain made recovery efforts extremely difficult. Garrett was found at the base of the cliff, having fallen the full 80 feet onto rocky ground. The impact had caused massive trauma that would have been instantly fatal. Garrett's death was ruled accidental, caused by massive trauma from the fall. The wedding reception was immediately canceled as emergency vehicles filled the resort's parking area. The venue installed more visible safety barriers around all cliff areas and implemented a policy requiring all photographers to stay within designated zones, with signed acknowledgments required before any outdoor photography sessions. The photographer's pursuit of the perfect shot had cost him everything on that Colorado mountainside. But hundreds of miles away in Georgia, a young woman's attempt to avoid causing problems at her best friend's wedding was about to create the ultimate disruption.
Here we go.
It was June 3rd, 2017, in a small town outside Atlanta, Georgia. The historic church had been built in 1892 and featured soaring ceilings, stained glass windows, and wooden pews that could seat 200 guests. The building's old-world charm made it a popular choice for traditional weddings, though its age meant that modern amenities like air conditioning were limited. Paisley Thornton was 26 years old and worked as a marketing assistant for a small advertising firm in downtown Atlanta. She had been the bride's college roommate, and their friendship had continued strong through the 5 years since graduation. Paisley was known among her friends as someone who always tried to help, often to her own detriment. When the bride began planning her wedding menu 6 months before the ceremony, she sent detailed questionnaires to all members of the wedding party asking about dietary restrictions, food allergies, and meal preferences. Paisley received the form and checked the box marked "None" for allergies. She had experienced those mild reactions as a child, but was confident that her adult system could handle shellfish without problems, and she didn't want to create unnecessary complications for her friend's special day. The bride chose a catering company that specialized in Southern cuisine with an upscale twist. The menu included several seafood options, including bacon-wrapped shrimp appetizers that would be passed during the cocktail hour before the ceremony. During the cocktail hour, servers circulated through the crowd of guests with silver trays of appetizers. When a server approached Paisley and offered her the bacon-wrapped shrimp, she took one without hesitation. The taste was familiar, and Paisley felt satisfied that she had made the right choice in not listing shellfish as an allergy on her form. She continued mingling with other wedding guests and didn't give the appetizer another thought as she prepared for the ceremony to begin. Within 10 minutes, Paisley's throat began to feel tight, and her voice became slightly hoarse. She excused herself to the bathroom and checked her reflection in the mirror. Her face was becoming flushed, and her lips were starting to swell. As her breathing became more labored, she remained in the bathroom for several minutes, apparently trying to manage the worsening symptoms on her own. As the wedding party lined up for the processional, Paisley's breathing became increasingly difficult and audible. Her airway was visibly constricting, and she appeared flushed and distressed. The maid of honor noticed that Paisley was breathing heavily and offered to get help, but Paisley waved her off and insisted she would be fine. She had no previous experience with severe allergic reactions and appeared unaware of how rapidly her condition was deteriorating. The processional music began, and the bridesmaids started walking down the aisle in pairs. Paisley was the third bridesmaid in line, walking with one of the groom's cousins. As they reached the aisle, Paisley began stumbling and appeared disoriented. Her legs became unsteady, and she struggled to continue walking as the allergic reaction reached its peak severity. Paisley collapsed in the center aisle during the processional. Her breathing was severely impaired, and she showed visible signs of oxygen deprivation as nearby guests realized a medical emergency was unfolding. Emergency services were contacted as the bride rushed forward, and guests searched Paisley's belongings for medical information, finding none. Responders arrived 18 minutes later, delayed by heavy weekend traffic around the church, but the anaphylactic reaction had progressed to complete airway closure and cardiovascular collapse, and she could not be revived. Paisley died from anaphylactic shock caused by shellfish exposure. The ceremony was immediately stopped, and guests were asked to leave the church while the situation was handled. The bride was devastated to learn that her best friend had experienced a severe allergic reaction that neither of them had anticipated. The catering company began including more detailed allergen warnings on their menu cards and requiring signed allergy disclosure forms from all members of wedding parties. A hidden medical condition had turned a joyful processional into a scene of horror inside that historic church. Meanwhile, at a luxury resort in Florida, a groom's need to prove himself was leading toward a celebration that would end in the worst possible way. It was August 12th, 2018, at a luxury beachfront resort on Florida's Gulf Coast. The property featured pristine white sand beaches, palm trees, and an infinity pool that seemed to blend seamlessly with the ocean horizon. The resort was known for hosting elaborate destination weddings with packages that included ceremony space.
I love Infinity's pools. Look how beautiful this wedding is. It's gorgeous, especially the outdoor ones.
Reception venues, and accommodations for wedding parties and guests. Tanner Blackwood was 31 years old and worked as an investment banker for a major firm in Tampa. His job required him to work 80-hour weeks analyzing market trends and managing client portfolios, leaving little time for physical fitness or recreational activities. Tanner's lifestyle consisted primarily of long days at the office, business dinners, and weekend work sessions that kept him chained to his computer and phone. During the cocktail hour before the reception, Tanner consumed 4 glasses of champagne and 2 whiskey cocktails in the span of 90 minutes. His alcohol tolerance was relatively low due to his demanding work schedule, which left little time for regular drinking, and the tropical heat intensified the effects of the alcohol in his system. By the time dinner was served, Tanner was noticeably intoxicated, speaking loudly and becoming increasingly boastful about his various abilities and accomplishments. As the evening progressed, Tanner and his groomsmen drifted toward the pool beside the reception terrace. The infinity edge distorted depth perception, especially under low lighting and alcohol impairment. Around 9 p.m., Tanner boasted about his supposed diving skills and was encouraged to demonstrate them. He stepped to what appeared to be the deep end, where depth markers and no diving symbols were partially obscured by wedding decor. In reality, the water was only 4 feet deep, a difference he failed to recognize in his intoxicated state. The groomsmen gathered around to watch, with some of them taking out their phones to record what they expected to be an impressive display of athleticism. Other wedding guests on the terrace noticed the commotion around the pool, but assumed it was just a typical reception celebration and didn't pay close attention to what was happening. Tanner raised his arms above his head in a classic diving position and launched himself toward the water. His form was actually quite poor, with his body angled too steeply and his arms positioned incorrectly, but his intoxication prevented him from recognizing these problems. He entered the water head first with significant force, expecting to glide smoothly into deep water. Instead, Tanner's head struck the pool bottom with tremendous impact. The 4-foot depth was insufficient to accommodate his diving trajectory, and his skull hit the concrete bottom at nearly full force. The impact caused immediate unconsciousness and severe head trauma, and Tanner's body went limp in the water. The groomsmen initially thought Tanner was showing off by staying underwater for an extended period, and they laughed and called for him to surface. It took nearly 30 seconds before they realized that something was wrong and that Tanner wasn't moving. By the time they pulled him from the pool, he had been underwater for almost a minute and showed no signs of consciousness or breathing. Resort staff immediately called emergency services and began CPR, but Tanner's head injuries were too severe for resuscitation efforts to be effective. Emergency responders arrived within 8 minutes and continued advanced life support measures, but Tanner was pronounced dead at the scene. Tanner died from catastrophic head and cervical trauma sustained on impact with the pool bottom, with secondary drowning and acute alcohol intoxication contributing to the fatal outcome. Autopsy results later revealed severe alcohol intoxication that contributed to his impaired judgment. The reception ended immediately as emergency vehicles arrived and guests were asked to return to their rooms. The resort later implemented several new safety measures, including depth markers, visible even in low light, and mandatory lifeguard presence during any evening events involving pool access. If you're enjoying these stories and want to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. It was October 14th, 2015, at a restored farmhouse in rural Michigan. The property had been converted into a wedding venue while maintaining its original 1920s character, complete with hardwood floors, exposed beams, and a large country kitchen that many couples found charming. The farmhouse sat on 40 acres of rolling hills and offered an intimate setting for smaller weddings, typically hosting 50 to 75 guests. Ember Caldwell was 28 years old and worked as a pastry chef at an upscale restaurant in Grand Rapids. She had trained at culinary school and spent 6 years perfecting her skills in professional kitchens, specializing in elaborate wedding cakes and dessert presentations. 16 at a desert, the unforgiving.
We saw that one yesterday. Basically, what happened with her was that there was an old stove system and it caught on fire and she didn't get out in time and died of smoke ventilation. Okay, last one.
Desert heat.
Desert heat.
It was May 21st, 2016, at a desert resort outside Scottsdale, Arizona. The venue specialized in outdoor ceremonies that took advantage of the dramatic Sonoran desert landscape, with towering saguaro cacti and red rock formations providing a stunning natural backdrop. The resort was popular with couples.
You asked Plotter, has he heard from me? What did he say? I haven't seen Plotter. Plotter's been busy. Yeah, Cassandra, so good to see you. Judy Bird, alone? You're not alone.
Seeking a unique southwestern wedding experience, though the desert environment presented challenges including extreme heat, limited shade, and the need for careful planning around weather conditions. Roderick Vale was 42 years old and had been performing wedding ceremonies for over 15 years. He was an ordained minister who had left traditional church ministry to focus exclusively on weddings, finding deep satisfaction in helping couples begin their married lives. Roderick had officiated more than 200 weddings throughout Arizona and was known for his warm, personalized approach and his ability to create meaningful ceremonies that reflected each couple's unique relationship. The wedding was scheduled for 4 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon, with the ceremony taking place on an outdoor terrace overlooking the desert valley. The temperature that day reached 105 degrees Fahrenheit, which was unusually hot even for late May in Arizona. The resort had set up a tent to provide some shade for the wedding party, but the ceremony location itself was in direct sunlight to take advantage of the dramatic lighting and desert views. Roderick lived in Phoenix, about 3 hours away from the resort, and he had driven to the venue that morning to allow time for final preparations and a brief rehearsal with the couple. The long drive in his car, which had air conditioning problems, left him somewhat dehydrated by the time he arrived.
Lord.
As Roderick prepared for the ceremony, he began to feel emotionally affected by the couple's story in an unexpected way. The bride had lost her father to cancer 2 years earlier, and she had specifically chosen this date for her wedding because it was her father's birthday. As the ceremony began, Roderick was completely focused on creating a beautiful experience for the couple. He delivered the opening remarks flawlessly, his voice carrying clearly across the desert landscape to the 75 guests who had gathered to witness the wedding. The bride and groom were moved by his words, and several guests commented that they had never heard such a heartfelt and personal ceremony. During the exchange of rings, Roderick began to appear slightly unsteady and showed signs of disorientation. Despite these visible symptoms, he continued with the ceremony without pausing. A combination of dehydration, extreme heat, emotional stress, and his unknown genetic condition was creating the perfect storm for a catastrophic medical event. As the bride began reciting her personal vows, which included several references to her deceased father and her gratitude for finding love after loss, Roderick suddenly grabbed his head and appeared to be in severe distress. The aneurysm in his brain, weakened by years of undetected deterioration and triggered by the combination of physical and emotional stress, suddenly ruptured. The rupture caused a sudden subarachnoid hemorrhage, leading to immediate loss of consciousness. Roderick collapsed without warning, falling backward onto the desert stone terrace in full view of the wedding party and all the guests. The bride stopped speaking mid-sentence, and the groom immediately knelt down to try to help. Several guests who had medical training rushed forward, but Roderick was already unconscious and showing signs of severe neurological damage. Emergency services were called immediately, but the remote desert location meant that it took nearly 35 minutes for paramedics to arrive. The resort staff did everything they could to provide assistance, including bringing ice to try to cool Roderick's body temperature and providing shade while they waited for professional help. Despite aggressive treatment by emergency responders, Roderick never regained consciousness. Roderick suffered a fatal subarachnoid hemorrhage caused by a ruptured cerebral aneurysm. Dehydration, extreme heat, and emotional stress were identified as contributing factors to the rupture of a blood vessel weakened by an undiagnosed genetic condition. The ceremony was immediately stopped, and guests were asked to move indoors while emergency responders worked. The resort implemented new safety protocols for outdoor ceremonies, including mandatory water stations for all wedding party members and requirements for shade coverage during ceremonies lasting longer than 30 minutes. Thanks for watching. If you like these stories,
Well, my lovely, beautiful, wonderful chat, I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Cassandra, Doodoo Bird, Debbie, and who else was in here? Cece was here earlier. Mary, thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the show. I will see you tomorrow, maybe. I have a dentist appointment, so I probably will not be online tomorrow, but you have plenty to watch until you see me again. Love you guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.